Welcome everyone to the City Club of Eugene's January 14th, 2022 program, Lessons from the Pandemic, U of O's Impact on the Next Normal. This is the 16th program for our 21-22 programming year. My name is Kitty Piercy and I'm the City Club President, and I'm proud of that. Support for the City Club is provided by our members and sponsors. You can become a member of the City Club at our website, cityclubofueugene.org. This program is live streamed and taped. Our programs are always available on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, and our podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts. Programs are broadcast on public radio station KLCC 89.7 on Monday nights at 7. We have both business and in-kind sponsors. Our diamond sponsors are Kaiser Permanente, University of Oregon, Peace Health, and Lane Community College. And we get generous support from the City of Eugene and from Lane County. In today's program, we welcome, our speaker is University of Oregon President Michael Schill. I'll stop and give a clap for that. The first question will come from Scott Coltrane. Biographical information on our speakers is available on our website, cityclubofueugene.org. I would like to thank Joel Corrin for coordinating today's program. Lessons from the Pandemic, U of O's Impact on the Next Normal. Michael Schill is the 18th president of the University of Oregon and holds a tenured faculty position at the U of O School of Law. He began his tenure on July 1st, 2015. He previously served as a dean and Harry and Wyatt Professor of Law at the University of Chicago Law School. Prior to joining the University of Chicago in 2010, Schill served as a dean of the University of California, Los Angeles School of Law from 2004 to 2009. His other faculty appointments include tenured positions as Professor of Law and Urban Planning at New York University and Professor of Law and Real Estate at the University of Pennsylvania. Our format today includes a question and answer period with City Club members and non-members alike via live stream and text. The number to the text is in the banner on your screen. And now I'm going to turn the program over to Joel Corrin. Joel?
Two years ago today, President Schill was in his office thinking about the things that a university president has to think about. What new programs should we introduce? What about a building project? How can we get more money out of our donors and the state legislature? 2 months later, he still had to think about all those things, but also had to think about how do we protect our students, faculty, and staff from this new disease? Should we stay open or should we close? What can the university do to help the community fight this disease? Now it's 2 years later, and President Schill is going to talk to us about the lessons that he learned. As you heard, prior to coming to the University of Oregon, he was dean of 2 law schools, and nothing prepares you for the uncertainty of being the president of the university than trying to deal with a law school faculty. So I now call on President Schill to give his remarks on the lessons from the pandemic.
Thank you very much, and it has been quite an experience, and not all bad. So I think that's part of what I've learned. But what I want to do is I want to just thank you all for inviting me back to the City Club. It's great to see you today again, and to welcome all of those who are watching on the live stream. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to the City Club about the next normal and sometimes called the new normal, and to discuss the important and mutually beneficial relationship that the University of Oregon and the city of Eugene has. It has enjoyed this for nearly 150 years. As we think about the future, we should reflect on the rich legacy the University of Oregon and Eugene shares together. Our communities, our histories, our opportunities, and our futures are deeply connected. For starters, we know that many of our students come from Eugene and surrounding areas. Indeed, at least 3,000 come from Lane County alone. We serve the families of Eugene by providing an affordable, high-quality education to their young men and women. We also attract people to Eugene and enhance its skilled workforce, which of course is now more important than ever. We know that many of our students, faculty, and staff choose to study and work at the University of Oregon because Eugene is such a wonderful place to live. People are attracted by the beauty of this community, by our culture of progressive engagement, and by the opportunity to live in a community that is attractive and, at least as compared to other cities on the West Coast, affordable and safe. Now, we at the University of Oregon care deeply about our community, and we have a vested interest in the success of the region. Eugene, Lane County, and Oregon's fortune is also directly tied to our university and the other public research universities in the state. The University of Oregon plays an integral role in driving our region's economy through the jobs that we create, through the purchasing power of our community, through the workforce that we prepare, the scientific research that we conduct, the businesses and ideas that we generate, the fans and the tourists that we bring to the campus, and the impact of our direct service to our community. By the numbers, the University of Oregon generates $2.6 billion in economic footprint annually on the city of Eugene, or in the state of Oregon. It's $2.6 billion. Much of that is in Lane County. For example, each year we pay over $350 million in local wages, and the University of Oregon spends more than $800 million with local businesses each year. And over the past years, many of you have seen the growth of our campus, the construction on our campus. We've spent over the past 5 years about $1 billion in construction, and we will invest another $1 billion in the coming 5 years. In addition, last year researchers brought to the region, brought to Eugene, $170 million in grants, contracts, and awards used by the community and in the community to generate solutions, ideas, and products to help improve our region. It's been said by, I forget who said it, but that if you care about the economic vitality of a region, if you're trying to kickstart economic vitality, create a university and come back in 50 years, and then you will have that vitality. Well, we've already created the university, and we're enjoying that economic vitality as well as intellectual vitality. These opportunities for innovation, growth, and prosperity, they continue to increase with the full realization of the Phil and Penny Knight Campus for Accelerating Scientific Impact and some other initiatives that I'm going to discuss with you today. As I said at the outset, our fates, the fates of our community and our university are deeply intertwined. And we don't take that relationship for granted, and nor should the city of Eugene. We should all protect and work to nurture it. So as we think about the future, the lessons of COVID-19 pandemic and the next normal, we must first acknowledge what's happening in our community right now. The University of Oregon, Lane County, Oregon, and the entire world, we're experiencing a rapid increase in COVID-19 cases due to the spread of the Omicron variant. The West Coast was slightly behind the rest of the U.S., and we are experiencing the brunt of that surge right now. We are carefully tracking the volume of cases at the university. Our case rate is on track with the rest of Lane County and is consistent with what's happening in the entire United States. Fortunately, current public health data and reports from our university health services show that most individuals who have tested positive are experiencing very mild symptoms. Knock wood, since the start of the pandemic, we have seen very, very few members of our community have to go to the hospital. Our high vaccination rate, masking requirements, testing protocols, and other health measures that we are taking to minimize the severity of the health impact on our campus and also in our community have been tremendous. More than 95% of our faculty, staff, and students are vaccinated, and many have already received booster shots, and we now have a mandate for boosters by the end of the month. We often say that the University of Oregon campus is one of the safest places in the entire state. We have developed and continue to benefit from a close relationship with our county health department, and we do that to support our community. For example, the University of Oregon's COVID-19 testing program this week began symptomatic testing, open to all Lane County residents, to help meet the high net level of need in our community. We did this to provide free, safe, fast testing to our community. We already have been providing asymptomatic testing since tests have become available. And on my way over here today, we passed Mac Court where we're having the testing, and I will say there was a long line of people from the community taking part in that testing. Our program has provided more than 180,000 free tests since its inception, including 8,000 tests just this week alone. We expanded our operations, as I mentioned a moment ago, to mild symptomatic testing in a coordinated effort to relieve some of the testing operations at medical facilities so they can focus on individuals who need more direct and more immediate help with their healthcare issues. We're also providing testing to K through 12 schools and to Lane Community College, as well as genomic sequencing to identify which variants are circulating in our community. As we have over the past year, we are also providing support for vaccination and booster clinics, and indeed, we plan to host a clinic later this month. Our testing program is an example, importantly, of some of the benefits to a community of having a great public research university. We can leverage our unique faculty expertise, our facilities, and logistical capabilities to serve our state as well as our community. Of course, the current surge in cases is resulting in many members of the University of Oregon community having to isolate while they are potentially infectious, which is creating some disruption. The university has taken a number of steps to support our students and our employees by creating flexibility for absences or remote participation in our classrooms, in our workplaces. We are carefully monitoring the situation and adapting as we can move forward to serve our students, our employees, and our community. Now, the pandemic has presented the University of Oregon with some of the greatest challenges we've ever faced. Together, we are not only overcoming these challenges, but we are more certain and more committed to our mission of teaching, discovery, and service. In these last 2 years, COVID-19 halted, changed, or disrupted every aspect of the University of Oregon, of our life, of our teaching, everything, just like the rest of the country. But history has shown that time and time again, out of great crises come great progress and important lessons. These advances may not always be apparent when you're going through the moment, but they are transformative nevertheless. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the lessons that we've learned from the pandemic. The first lesson that became apparent early on is that the University of Oregon community is incredibly resilient and innovative in the face of adversity. 2 years ago, we probably couldn't have imagined in our wildest dreams that the University of Oregon's operations would come grinding to a halt over a 1-week period, and everyone rapidly had to switch to remote education. Now, I have taught for 35 years, and I taught last year, and teaching remotely is an entirely different skill set than teaching in person. We deploy technology, support, and resources to connect our students, our instructors, and our researchers in education and discovery across the state, the world, and the globe. It wasn't always easy. It wasn't always perfect. We sacrificed a lot to protect each other. But we also worked together to ensure that our students could continue to pursue their education. And last June we celebrated, and some of us actually were moved to tears as we watched our students collect their diplomas. Thanks to all of the efforts, nearly 5,000 students earned their degrees from the University of Oregon last year. Through it all, our faculty, sometimes under really difficult situations and conditions, found inventive ways to teach and to mentor. And our students, they explored creative ways to learn and create. Our staff worked tirelessly to support our mission. And many of our top scholars worked together to create COVID-19 testing labs for the community, to conduct COVID-19 research, such as examining how the virus travels through the air, why misinformation spreads across the globe, and how to support kids in the classroom. And our donors gave generously, including over $1 million to help our students in crisis. There are 1,000 examples of resilience and innovation. I'm proud, I'm grateful, I'm humbled by my incredible community's determination not to let the virus keep our students from achieving their dreams or stop our research efforts. The second lesson of the pandemic is that while we can all persevere while apart, we are in fact much better together. Many of us suffered in the isolation and anxiety created by the pandemic. It was especially hard on our students. We knew we had much to gain by returning to our classrooms, our labs, our studios, our performance halls, and our playing fields. Returning to campus was worth fighting for. After the more than 18 months of mostly remote instruction due to the pandemic, we all came back together for in-person teaching and research activities in the fall. Thanks to the continued work of our faculty and staff, in our partnership with state and local health officials, we created comprehensive safety measures. These included requiring vaccines, now requiring boosters, robust testing, mask wearing, case management, and other preventive measures. And now as Omicron surges, we're working to address the needs of our students and addressing the very real challenges of those who need to quarantine or isolate. Being apart reinforced for me and for our community the undeniable advantages of residential college experiences at the University of Oregon. When students live in a college campus, they become immersed in their education. For example, at the University of Oregon, students have the opportunity to live with and take classes from faculty in their residence halls. They participate in academic residential communities or freshman interest groups focused on their areas of study. They're able to build relationships with their professors, not just on Zoom screens, but face-to-face, over meals, relationships with their advisors, and benefit from mentorship of our faculty. And research has shown that when students live in a campus, they do better in their classes. They're less likely to drop out, and they're more likely to graduate on time. Now, our residential campus also allows undergraduates to participate in hands-on research with world-class faculty who are creating knowledge and making discoveries. The opportunity to work in teams and solve real-world problems prepares these students for life after the university, where we know it's so important for ever employment to collaborate and work with other people. Also, and this is incredibly important, by living and learning on campus, our students, and not just on screens, our students also expand their social circles, experience new perspectives and cultures, and participate in activities that prepare them for what life after college is like. This is a crucial part of us achieving and supporting our diversity and inclusion initiatives, so important to a more equitable world. The University of Oregon's immersive residential experience is part of what gives our students a world-class education. That brings me to my third and final lesson from the pandemic. The research, innovation, and impact of the University of Oregon and research universities in general is more important today than it has ever been. The last 2 years put on display the crucial role that America's leading research universities play in helping our nation solve big problems. Researchers at universities like our own have been at the forefront of creating solutions during the pandemic, identifying COVID-19 and its variants, tracing the virus's spread, creating life-saving vaccines, finding ways to test for COVID, discovering treatments, innovating technology to help people, identifying health disparities where they exist, and providing direct access to services. And at the University of Oregon, we were able to draw from our faculty's expertise and data analytics, and we actually turned a portion of our new night campus into a COVID testing facility. Another example are researchers who study sustainable design and energy efficiency in architecture, studied how COVID moves through the air and helped create new ways to both detect COVID but also increase airflow to help protect against the virus. Our ability as a great research university to provide these insights and to shift quickly and nimbly to address these problems, it was made possible because we already had made the investments in problem solving in facilities at the University of Oregon. That's the beauty of a research university. We're always innovating. We create solutions for today's problems and even for challenges whose scope we can't even predict today. Now, while the pandemic challenged us and taught us these important lessons, it didn't stop our progress. And that's an important point Joel mentioned a moment ago. We didn't just say, stop and we're going to deal with the pandemic. We said, we are a great university. We're going to have a life. We've been almost 150 years in existence. We're going to go another 150 to 200, 300 years. So we can't stop our progress. So this fall, we welcome to the university our most academically qualified, most diverse, biggest first-year class in the history of the University of Oregon. Our students arrived in classes and encountered a campus transformed over the last year by the opening of iconic new buildings like the first phase of the Phil and Penny Knight Campus for Accelerating Scientific Impact, Hayward Field, the world's greatest track and field venue, and Unthank Hall, a state-of-the-art student welcome center, residence hall, and dining facility. And if any of you have not been there, I encourage you to come in and see all of these places. The Knight campus, thanks to a second $500 million gift earlier this year from Phil and Penny Knight, will expand to a second building, hire more faculty, teach more students, and create additional core research facilities and laboratories to support applied science and bioengineering. Indeed, this fall, there's a new doctoral program in bioengineering that began. It already has 20 students, and I want you to hold your breath. It is jointly run with Oregon State University. We are not just competing with each other, we are collaborating with each other. Our Knight campus faculty continues to make an impact on the world. They have established first-of-their-kind technologies, such as high-resolution 3D printing methods, and the potential to make advanced medical implants. These versatile materials have potential applications throughout the body, such as artificial blood vessels, dental implants, bone and tendon repairs, and nerve regeneration. We also work hard to build economic development in our community. We are hosting a 6,000 square foot innovation center where businesses can lease space ranging from seats at a shared lab to private labs and offices, and the use of our shared academic research facilities. So this specialized equipment, these investments that we made, can benefit the entire community. Now, this past summer, many of you may have been there, Hayward Field opened and impressed the world with the NCAA Track and Field Championships, the Olympic Trials, the National High School Track and Field Championships, and the Prefontaine Classic. We are thrilled to partner with the cities of Eugene, Springfield, Travel, Oregon, and Travel Lane County next summer. We are excited to bring the World Athletics Championships to the American soil for the very first time. Now, I know that Oregon 22 organizers were featured speakers at a recent City Club Friday Forum to discuss the event and all of the many opportunities the community will have to participate in this incredible event at the University of Oregon and really throughout the entire area. This opportunity is unprecedented, and we are partnering not just on the event operations, but also on creative academic and cross-cultural opportunities. For example, on a scientific note, new sensors recently installed at Hayward Field will help both international and University of Oregon researchers advance research on air quality and wildfire smoke. The work will enable better detection, prediction, planning, and response to smoke, and will also help us better plan and protect the health of our athletes who are participating. Another wonderful collaboration, which I hope all of you take part in, is our Envoy program. Each World Championship delegation, 2 214 federations from every country in the world will be matched with student envoys, selected based upon their language proficiency or connection to the country of the delegation. Envoys will provide daily support throughout the championships, acting as guides and cross-cultural interpreters. These student envoys will get a wonderful experience and showcase the hospitable and welcoming nature of the University of Oregon, as well as the city of Eugene, showcasing for the world our community. And this is the thing that you sort of have to pinch yourself to understand. This is going to be seen, this event, by probably more eyeballs than any other sporting event in this coming year, or maybe one or two. But that's incredible. People are going to be seeing Eugene all over the world. Now, I am super excited about this event. I'm super excited about what we're going to be doing. And indeed, one of the things I love about Oregon 22 is it fits right in with some of our academic plans for the university. We have tremendous strength in athletics, right? Everybody knows the Ducks. Most people love the Ducks, unless you're a Beaver, and we have an unbelievably successful operation. We also have incredible education and research opportunities throughout the university in sports and wellness. And we're putting all those together. We're making a major move to integrate human physiology, prevention science, community well-being, data analytics, athletics, and the sports industry expertise, including marketing, product design, product management. And we're putting this all together in an academic program. And we believe that we will have the best academic program in the world with respect to the business and the practice and the health aspects of sport. And we are excited. We want the University of Oregon to be a magnet for every young man and woman who cares about athletics and cares about wellness. Now, much of my talk has focused on the commitment by the University of Oregon to have impact. And by impact, what I mean is that we want our teaching, we want our research and our service to make our community, writ large and small, better, more prosperous, more healthy, more fair. When we consider some of the greatest challenges facing our world, whether they be improving human health, protecting our environment, innovating solutions in business, law, science, and technology, understanding and harnessing data, working to end racial disparities and to promote inclusion. These are the areas where the University of Oregon strives to make an even bigger impact. These are the disciplines in which students and scholars can make a difference in our society, which is in dire need of solutions. And as the university continues to attract more students, expand our solution-based academic and research focus, we win research grants, we grow in prominence, it allows us to better serve our community. The University of Oregon's next normal will be based upon a commitment to improve our world. To meet the demands of tomorrow, we will take all of the lessons that we've learned from the pandemic. We'll take all of our accomplishments to build a reimagined public university. A University of Oregon for tomorrow, in the Eugene of tomorrow. A future focused on preparing our students for a rapidly changing job market. A future focused on innovation and discovery. A future focused on prosperity and benefit to the state and nation. And a future focused on lifting up not just those born to advantage, but everyone. We are resilient, we are better together, and our work is more important than ever. And together, with our state, with our city, we are ready to move forward. Thank you all. Oh, okay.
Don't run, you can just stay there. We're just going to take a 5-minute break now, and we'll return for questions and answers. Okay. Right now, I'd like to introduce City Club past president Scott Coltrane. He will ask the first question to President Schill.
And my former provost.
First,
Acting president.
I want to thank Mike for coming to City Club and for doing such a great job enthusiastically supporting all the wonderful things that UO has done for the community and the reciprocal relations. My question is, I noticed with great pleasure that the entering class this year is larger than ever. And I know from my time at the university that one of the things that enabled us to keep our enrollment numbers up was the fact that when people visited, they fell in love with the place because it's such a beautiful campus. Well, this last year, tell us a little bit about what you put in place and the planning where people could not bring their parents and show them the place. They couldn't visit. How'd you pull that off? Maybe you might talk a little bit about tuition planning and retention efforts that you've been working on.
So you're right. It was very challenging because what when students come here, we always say that if a student actually comes to the University of Oregon, we've got them, because they just love what they see, they love our community, they walk through, look at the trees and go, wow, this is a great place. They go to classes, they see what our academics are like. But this year we didn't have people coming through in the summer. We weren't allowed to under the, now, so what did we do? So a lot of the effort was virtual, because we also weren't able to travel to them. So this was really a very nerve-wracking time. And so what we did is we did a whole bunch of virtual programs, outreach, and that sort of thing. We also, we had parents and their kids coming onto campus, even though, because there's nothing that keeps people off. We don't have a gate. So essentially people would walk on, and we encouraged our staff and our faculty, if they were walking around, they saw people looking aimless, to walk up to them safely and sort of say, you might want to go this place, or you might want to go that place. And so essentially that helped us in the recruiting of students. And this past year, starting in the fall, we have had campus visits, and we continue to have campus visits. And we continue to strive to grow. And really our secret sauce in admissions, as you know from your time as acting president and as provost, is we have an unbelievable enrollment manager, management vice president, Roger Thompson, who many of you may know from the community, and he's just amazing. I mean, so he can, even if you don't want to go to college, he can get you to come to college, and he's just, his enthusiasm and his sincerity wins out in the end. And we are fighting, we are trying to grow, and what we see in the demographics for Oregon is a decline in the number of people qualified. And so we are working really hard, and last year's effort to recruit students shows us that we're in pretty good shape, because we did grow quite a bit.
Our next question is by a University of Oregon student.
Hi, I am Tanner Brereton. I am a City Club member. Can you hear me?
Get closer to the mic, please.
No problem. I'm a City Club member, as well as a University of Oregon student and employee, as well as a proud member of the GTFF. So I have a few questions that come from campus. First question. How do you intend to reconcile budget cuts with the supposed commitment to equity and increasing diversity of the student body? Where will the money come from that needs to support an increased pipeline of students with barriers to access?
That is a huge challenge for our university. As you know, from any university, we've been able to increase our diversity and also be able to serve first-generation students. I think you probably know I'm a first-generation student.
So am I.
So are you. I'm deeply committed to that. We were the first university in the state to do full tuition scholarships under our Pathway Oregon program, and we are continued to commit to that. So any student in the state who graduates from high school with I think a GPA of 3.4 from high school and is Pell eligible, we will make up the rest of their tuition. Now, the important thing and the challenge that we have is what we're seeing is what's becoming more critical for attracting low-income students is housing and food. And so ASUO, as you know, made a big commitment this year to move over part of their budget to basic needs. We have made commitments. We've hired 2 people to be basic needs coordinators, and we're trying to address those types of issues, because food and board, room and board rather, are actually almost equal to our tuition. And so if we can handle through Pathway Oregon for Oregonians tuition, But then we have to worry about now, and this is different from the past, food and room and board.
Double check if I can answer.
Do you have another question?
I do. So, does the university have any plans to improve graduate family housing on campus? And if not, then why do graduates not have an opportunity for that networking that you described about with the undergraduates? And they don't have access to that?
Yeah, we have a significant amount of graduate housing on campus, but it's never enough. I mean, it's quite affordable. And the housing outside in Eugene, as all of us know, has been going up in price. We don't have any plans to construct new housing for graduate students. We are going to rely on the private market.
Okay. Let me take a step back, give someone else an opportunity.
Any other questions? Corinne?
Hi, Karin Knudsen, City Club President-elect and City Club member. Thank you, President Schill, for being here with us today. I very much appreciated your framing comments about the importance of the relationship and the resources that our community, Eugene, Springfield, are to the university, and that the university is to our community, and was struck by the fact that recently in national news, I have heard about several U of O programs that also have been a part of City Club conversations. This week, the work that Christopher Minson in human physiology has been doing with a startup called Nature Quant with Jared Hanley and others was in the Wall Street Journal. You mentioned the College of Design and the ESBL's work, Kevin Ben and Weilenberg's work to help understand how COVID moves through indoor air environments. And then also, of course, a really wonderful story and article recently about Lily Reynolds Parker and a local effort to create a home for her, actually, and purchase a home for her that was led by members of the community and a City Club Turtle Award winner, Mo Young, just this last year. That's all really good news that I've read about. The bad news that I read about in the news has to do with how we think about the value of research, of evidence, and how that influences our conversations in community. And the challenge that we seem to be facing currently in a dynamic between what could be described as maybe very confirmation bias oriented conversations versus conversations based in learning and in gathering new evidence and in even changing our opinions and then sharing those changed opinions. Can you talk a little bit about how our leaders in higher education are engaging this challenge and offer some insight as to what we as community members can do to support that?
Yeah, I mean, you've put your finger on a problem, a huge problem for our country and the world, and it's a threat to our democracy. People have to, I mean, we operate, we vote, we participate based upon some faith in some shared knowledge. And when you have people who are spreading lies and doubting the types of research and the types of scientific fact that are well supported and creating doubt, you create a real problem in our democracy. And so what we can do as one of America's leading research universities is to continue our commitment to research, is to talk about the importance of research, to be careful about how we do research that is defensible, that is empirical, that is not ideological, so we can't be sort of put in a box as trying to, achieve a political end, because that's where American progress is going to come from, and knowledge is our way to a better society. And so what we can do is to do more of what we're doing, to be honest, and what we can do is to be talking about the major issues of our day and trying to lead to greater understanding in society. We also can be doing other things. We can be studying why misinformation is so robust. And so we have a professor, Ellen Peters, in our psychology department. Actually, she's in journalism, but she's a psychologist. She's just written a book on numbers, and she is, what her studies are about is how you communicate difficult scientific information to the public. And so we can get better at doing that. But, again, we are always going to be running into trouble if we have politicians who try to lie and say that that is not true. And what we need is universities and people who consume the research of universities to say, no, I have an article I can show you. And maybe that sounds a little Pollyanna, given where we are, but I don't see another solution. It's knowledge, it's enlightenment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next questioner, please.
Hi, Mr. Schill. This is David Eigel. Years ago, you promoted a fraudulent history of Frederick Dunn to dename Dunn Hall. You are now standing in Professor Dunn's church, the successor church. He was a prominent, honored, devout member of this church who supported racial equality, dignity for blacks, the rights of blacks. Professor Dunn is a descendant of one of the most heroic and courageous abolitionist families in the United States. Your story you told about him to dename Dunn Hall was a complete fraud and a hoax. Are you now at long last going to do something to restore his reputation?
Thank you.
Thank you.
No. As you know, David, you participate in almost every board meeting where you make those claims, and essentially what we did when there were allegations made about Professor Dunn and also about Matthew Deedy is we tried to do what a great university would do, is we had 3 diverse and eminent historians look at the record. And they looked at the record and they found that it was clear from the record that Frederick Dunn was a member and a leader of the Ku Klux Klan. And I made the judgment based upon that research, which was solid research, that we should not have a building at a university which is committed to diversity and inclusion named after I believe he was the Grand Cyclops of the local Ku Klux Klan. So I sleep very well at night with my decision. Thank you, though, for asking.
Mary Layton.
Hi, I'm Mary Layton. I'm a member of City Club, and I speak as a person with 2 sources of authority. My firstborn was actually born at what is now the Westmoreland housing.
Is that Marty?
Yes, you're a state representative. And he was raised at Amazon Student Housing, which is now Spencer View.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about having family housing for students was that he got a much more diverse experience of Eugene than most anybody gets anywhere, really, but particularly in Eugene. And I was disappointed to hear you don't have any more family student housing on the books, and it struck me that this is one way the university could absolutely contribute to the problems with having no low-income housing and having it not spread out. Because Marty got to go to Edgewood, so very low poverty, high standards. That's what we want our schools and neighborhoods to be like. Pockets of all different kinds of people so that every school is able to flourish. So I just wondered if there's any way to change your mind, or could you talk Phil Knight into ponying up some money for that kind of project? Don't give it up. This is a great thing you could bring.
Maybe you should ask Marty to get us some money from the state legislature for this
Believe me,
purpose.
I do.
Marty's been a wonderful friend to the University of Oregon, and he's our representative. And ideally, we would have the resources to be able to build housing like that. We'd be able, when it comes to graduate students, when it comes to anybody, I would like to see the costs reduced. I'd like to see better support, all of those things. However, one of the things that I have to contend with at the university is among our peer universities, about 66 universities that are in our peer group, we are funded by the state next to the bottom. Colorado, University of Colorado funds their universities worse than we do. But all the other 64 universities give more money per student to their universities. So I always think about, when I think about the University of Oregon, I'm always amazed that we're able to perform as well as we're able to and have commitments to affordability given what we get from the state. And I would encourage you, and I'd encourage everybody in the audience, that in the next full session of the legislature to be out there advocating for higher education and advocating for expenditures in higher education. And basically, if you want, you can just quote my speech, because I just gave you the justifications for higher education and for commitments to higher education, and the state of Oregon has fallen down dramatically on that. Even though we've been doing better in recent years, if your baseline is low, doing better still lands you in a low place. But you could come up with, if I gave you some time, Mary, and you're a smart woman, you could come up with 10 other things that we should be doing if we had the money. And I'd like to do almost all of them.
You're underestimating her. We have time for one quick question, very quick question, quick answer.
Hi, I'm Tanner Burton again. This comes from another student on campus. So Phil Knight was quoted on record for saying that you, Michael Schill, are the best person that they have to turn University of Oregon into a private research university. What qualities do you think that you have on that, and how do you feel about him saying that?
Well, I don't know the quote that you're talking about, but my goal is not to turn the University of Oregon into a private university. My goal is to make the University of Oregon one of the best public universities in the nation. And so I am committed to that. Being one of the best public universities in the nation means to be focusing on our research, focusing on our education, focusing on our ability to lift people who have modest means up, to educate them and give them the ability to earn great livings for their families and to flourish. And that's what a great public university is, and a great public university exists to serve the needs of its community and state. And so I'm committed to all of that. Now, many private universities would say they're also committed to that too, and many do those services. So it's sort of the dichotomy between public and private doesn't always hold. But I'm grateful for Phil Knight's support. I'm grateful for the fact that he has confidence in me, and no human being has ever been more generous and more committed to a university than Phil Knight and his wife Penny, and we're all very lucky for that.
Thank you. Now, President Kitty Piercy will close out the program with some final remarks.
President Schill. This has been our January 14, 2022 program. Lessons from the pandemic, U of O's impact on the next normal. Before we thank our speaker today, I'd like to recognize our diamond sponsors. Kaiser Permanente exists to provide high-quality, affordable healthcare services and to improve the health of our members and the communities we serve. More information is available at www.kp.org. The University of Oregon. Since 1876, the U of O has helped Oregonians question critically, think logically, reason effectively, communicate clearly, act creatively, and live ethically. More information at uofo.edu. Peace Health. Peace Health is proud to serve Eugene, Lane County, and beyond as your hometown healthcare partner for more than 80 years. The Peace Health mission is to keep you and your family healthy. Learn more at peacehealth.org. Lane Community College transforms lives through learning. LCC provides comprehensive, accessible, high-quality educational opportunities that promote student success. For more information, visit lanecc.edu. We are also grateful for the generous support from the City of Eugene and from Lane County. I would also like to acknowledge our Sapphire sponsor, Summit Bank. Summit Bank, your local community bank, an independent community bank headquartered in Eugene. Summit Bank serves businesses and professionals in Eugene, Springfield, and Central Oregon communities. For more information, visit svko.bank. And our gold sponsors are Komodo and Drs. Fine, Hoffman, and Sims. Thank you to our in-kind sponsors, KRVM 91.9 Radio, Pack Info and Simplified Computing LLC, and Dotson's Photography. And a special thank you to public radio station KLCC-FM 89.7 for airing City Club programs on Mondays at 7. Our programs are always available on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and our podcast. We invite everyone, members and non-members, to participate in our programs. We invite everybody who's watching to participate in our program, either in person at our new venue, the First United Methodist Church at 1376 Olive, or by live stream on our YouTube page. More information is on our website, cityclubofeugene.org. Next week, we will be hosting Alan Benavides, General Manager, Eugene Emeralds, in our program, Can Eugene Save the M's? Please join us either here or virtually on January 21st. More details and information about future programs can be found online at the City Club's website, cityclubofeugene.org. And now, I consider President Schill a friend, a colleague, and of course I consider the University of Oregon key to the future of our city now and for years to come. So we thank you so much for coming and sharing what's been going on and letting us all know that University of Oregon has not stopped one bit, but keeps on moving into the future, meeting the needs of our community and the world. Thank you so much for being here.